The guys here at Empowerment have done an amazing job of recording videos of their own personal testimonies and the way that they see the world and how they grew up. Their stories are inspirational, and I hope that you can look at their stories and see just as much hope as I see when I meet them every single day here at Empowerment.
During high school, I didn't have any friends. I didn't really have anyone to talk to about how I felt.
I grew up one of 11 kids. My parents were Mormons. I was from a low-income family.
I think it was awful for me because I figured out that I was gay when I was 11.
I was little. I never really heard the word gay or heard about gay people ever.
It was pretty rough for the first year. I lived in Michigan in this really small town, and I didn't have any friends, and I was new there.
I grew up in a small community. There were only 15,000 people in the town.
About 400 students, and I was the only gay kid.
When I noticed that I felt in a certain way for boys and not a girl, I knew it was different, but I didn't really say anything about it. So it was different than like when I would go to school and people would be like, oh, he's a fag or he's gay, and people would like treat me different and stuff. I was just like, oh, okay.
It was really difficult being gay in that school because there was one other really out active gay guy, and he was like a mean girl. He was like Regina George, and it was not fun.
I would be bullied, not just verbally, but physically. I would be pinned up against a wall and beat up. I've even had rocks thrown at me just for walking with a male friend, a friend who wasn't even gay. He was straight.
There was people that didn't like me because I was gay, but they never got to know me. And there were people saying that they wanted to beat me up because I was gay.
People just treated me like dirt, and that they would just look down on me for who I was and being true to myself.
If people thought I was too feminine, I'd try to become more masculine, vice versa. I felt like there was some niche that I had to go into, some little nice neat hole that had a kind of just a place for me.
I was tired of hearing things like, oh, the shot, he's gay, or he's a fag, or I was more like, I'm more than just gay.
I came out pretty early. I came out at 16. I called my grandmother because I knew if I told her, she'd tell everybody and I wouldn't have to. And that's kind of how it happened.
She came in the car with hot chocolate and just sat in the car while I cried and tried to explain to her that I was gay. And when I did actually say it, she just hugged me and told me it was okay. That she knew, that she always knew. Called my mom. And I called my older brother over and I said, brother, just stand here and listen. I want you to hear this. And I was shaking and I was nervous. And I called my mom and I was standing out in the front yard. And I said, Mom, I think it's time you knew something about me. She was like, oh, what is it? What is it? I said, you knew I was gay, right? She's like, yeah, honey. I always knew. And that moment was like the dam breaking. I stood there and just cried, and my older brother came over and held me, and he told me, I am so sorry that you have to live in a world that doesn't understand you.
We think that high school is this huge ordeal. It's only 4 years. For the people that realize that that's just such a small section of their life, they go to college or get that perfect job, or they pursue, a music career. So much stuff changes. I can't say that I'm the same person at all.
People change. You get more freedoms when you finally grow up, and you get to either separate yourself from a family who may not understand you, or you get to become part of yourself with their support, So really, after high school is when the true test of who you are begins.
So when you're in high school, you feel like you're alone in everything. And being gay is just one of those.
Find something that you're proud of, because then after high school, because high school sucks for everybody, after high school, then you'll really have something to show for it. and you'll have something that you can then give to the world in a very substantial way.
You do have to come out. You have to come out to someone, even if it's one friend.
Find someone, find some people who love you no matter who you are, no matter what you do.
You want to at least live true to somebody. If you're living this lie all through high school, it's not going to be healthy. 4 years of lying to yourself and everybody else is not healthy.
There's different social networks online where you can talk to people who are going through the same exact thing as you are, or maybe different things that you can all learn from each other.
So whether it's your really strong mom or your really strong dad, or your best fag hag, or your first boyfriend, there's always somebody out there. You just have to find them.
Having just one person or two people who loves you no matter what is all it really takes to get through anything.
Secondly, I think really finding an outlet is really healthy.
It's theater, singing, camping, kayaking, painting.
So if it's writing, if it's music, if it's sports.
Theater was a really good thing for me.
Some people listen to music, some people see a counselor, some people write, some people draw.
Don't be afraid to do it, and don't be afraid to make friends that also do the same thing, because they will save your life.
If it weren't for my friends, I probably wouldn't be right here today.
Definitely my friends were probably my closest and the best reason that I survived high school.
You need to go out and you need to seek help. There are people around who are going through similar things. It might not be the exact same thing as you, but finding support can give you the courage you need to take that step forward the next day.
Expression is meant to be pure in the sense that it is what it is, and people will take from it what they're meant to take from it. Trying to please others just doesn't work.
Because all too often you keep everything inside, you keep it hidden. You kind of walk through a world feeling like no one understands you. And without you expressing yourself in any sort of meaningful way, in any sort of creative way, a lot of times you don't do yourself justice to discover yourself for yourself.
I can put any and all emotion into writing a song or playing a song that I hear that I really connect with. And then sort of all that frustration just lets out.
Pour all of that anger and the frustration and the loneliness into something creative.
A lot of people can barely handle the fact that I'm gay. And then when they find out that I also do drag.
I do drag a lot, probably every week.
Went home, put on some lipstick, and did everything for the first time. It was like a hot mess, but I did it.
I stop being me and I start being that other person.
She's on stage, put on that persona, and just be strong and don't let anything bother you.
And it's just this transfer of energy, this catalyst that changes my being, and I'm somebody completely different.
Having the feeling that everyone's looking at you and saying, oh, wow, that person's so cool and good and stuff, just gives you that boost of confidence and just makes you ignore all the homophobic and haters out there.
It's almost kind of being free from all of the stuff that we usually deal with in life and just focusing on the positive, amazing things that just kind of make life sparkle.
I don't know, it gives me so much energy and I just feel really good about myself.
My perception of myself was that I was never going to be, that I was broken.
It's the crap that you go through every day that really does make you stronger.
This is simply a period of time. Everything changes. Everything is in flux. And with time, you'll come to accept yourself, gay, bi, queer, trans, what have you.
And so once you go through none of that crap, once you go through heartbreak, once you go through insults, once you go through proving that they're not what they're telling you are, that you're better than that, that's when you kind of go, and you do that enough, it's just well, okay, that's fact.
And I think that one of the gifts that the gay community has is that isolation tends to breed introspection, and we really get an opportunity to spend some quality times with ourselves.
It's something that you find in yourself when you can look at yourself with love and you can start looking at the rest of the world and finding what it is that makes you happy and how you can help others be happy.
You stop masking who you are and masking your pain and, experiencing who you are, not for anyone else's benefit, but for your own. You start understanding what life is about and how valuable and extraordinary it can be.
I am this good of a person. I am my own force. I'm a good person.
I'm not broken. I don't need to be fixed. And there's nothing wrong with me.
It got better for me after high school because I found who I was. I was able to connect with my identity and just run with life.
There have been times I've wanted to give up and just throw in the towel, but there's this voice inside that was like, you're better than this. You can do this. Hold on for one more day.
So those hurtful words, being pushed or bumped into on purpose in the hallways, sort of makes you stronger in the end.
Every time that I get depressed or feel really hopeless about life, I always think of what I've been through before now and look back on that.
It makes you realize, that you are worth it because you push through that.
And that you have to really find that part of yourself that you respect and you love. And nobody can make that up for you. And there's nobody out there to complete us. There's nobody out there to do it for us. And so being able to share yourself with other people is important. But finding out who you are to share is equally as important.
You can't just sit there and expect it for somebody to save you. You have to take it upon yourself to find a way to be happy.
There are no homophobes in my life because I choose for them not to be there.
I want you guys to realize, I want you all to realize that there is something better out there and it's worth reaching for, fighting for, and grabbing at.
Find that drive, find that creativity, find whatever it is that's going to push you forward, that passion, Find yourself, love yourself.
And don't tell yourself or don't believe anything that they've been telling you about how worthless or that you should be ashamed of yourself or any of that stuff, because it's not true.
There's a lot of love in this world, and a lot of it is for you.
Be whoever you want to be. Don't let anybody else's ideas, conceptions about you, or anything, even their dreams about you, get in your way.
I finally am to a point in my life where I have people in my life who love me for who I am, and I've loved deeper and experienced greater things than I could have ever possibly imagined. Life does get better.
We don't want to lose your light, and we definitely still need you in the fight for our rights, in the fight for equality, in the fight to just be who we want to be.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better. It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
It gets better.
There's a 24-hour hotline that you can call. It's 1-866-4-TREVOR. You can call 24 hours a day, and they can be there to help support you, get you through this dark time in your life, because it gets better.
If you can, go online. And if you don't have internet at home, go to the library and do research and find out what's happening in your state and in your town, hopefully, or somewhere nearby. Because there's community groups.
I volunteer with Mpowerment, which is a great organization, which is just fabulous, and it's tons of fun to be around. It helps bisexual and gay men find safer sex practices and also find community in doing
There's
so.
lots of PFLAG groups, and that's not necessarily related to youth in general, but if you go to a PFLAG meeting, if you Google PFLAG and find it in your area, there's going to be adults there that will help you.
I do a gay comic. I do a comic based around my friends that I met in Capitol Hill, Seattle. It's their queer adventures. It's very sex positive. It's basically so people who, if they they're looking for something to relate to. If there's someone who feels like there's no such thing as a group of gay guys, this is a comic that basically portrays that.
It's the counselors at your school, if they're good and if they're doing their job, will be a great tool for you. Find out if there's any teachers in the school that are interested in starting a gay straight alliance, or go to your gay straight alliance if you already have one, and those will be people that will support you. Wherever you can, find that support, and it's going to make things a lot easier and a lot better while you're in it. And soon enough, if you're with the right people, you can become empowered enough to change things while you're there.